Top of morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the What If Deku became the Martian, or should I say, ancient Martian alien man? The Sorry if this video is a little bit like on the late side. So Zuko, or I'm also throwing in Zumi so that to keep things in interesting, but plus it's also a Zumi being in the canon version of Zuko, where Zuko would be, but she has a quirk on flame manipulation. But Zuko has a different quirk. Or, not really a quirk, but more like his ability. His ability is to adapt, transform, and evolve. So, yeah. So his skills, he has other two abilities that are kind of like his skills, are Infinity and Zero. So he can absorb anything and do basically anything without him even realizing it. So, let's begin with at age of 4, or no, when Zuko and Zumi were born, they went to the Quark Doctor at age of 4. The Quark Doctor looks at Zumi first. Then he tells her that she has a quirk and she can become a hero. But then when he looks over at Zuko the Quark Doctor tells him that he doesn't have a quirk. He's quirkless. But he actually does have a quirk, but I'll get into that a little bit later. So then, Inko Asashi tells them, Inko and Asashi, after they went, and so Zuko was after Quark Doctor, a couple weeks after that, he's still at age of 4. So, yeah. So he was at the park. Or I'll just say at the, how will I put this? At the, in the woods. He's just walking around, doing his stuff. He finds a gift, just laying there. Someone tells him, don't go near it. What did he do? He gets near it and pulls it's someone left it for him. So he pulls the string to open it. It was a nuke. inside. It exploded, sending him, or it tried to kill him, but he ends up getting, like, launched all the way to Mars. Yeah. And when he landed, he created a crater, like a hole in the ground. About, if it was a My Hero Academia or Academia school got flipped upside down in a hole in the ground. Yeah. That's how big it is. Or then a few kilometers away is that. As he gets up, as he scratches the back of his head, and he's trying to wipe off all the dust. As he looks around, and the Saturn that I'm talking about, here I'll pause. So he landed right in this area, right here. Do you see where the dot thing is? Right there. Yeah, he landed that. Yeah. So then when he got up, dusted himself off, looks around. So let me remind you, he's at age of 4 during all of that happened. As he gets up, he crawls out of the hole. And then he ends up becoming a person, or he meets that robot. As it's been dead for a while, based off of how much dust on the solar panel thing. As he looks over, or he walks towards it slowly, as he picks it up, and he tries not to, like, as he sees a dust storm, as he starts running with it, as he found a cave. He goes in to the cave that's aimed away from it. So he goes in and he cleans it up by just wiping with his hands. Like he just does that. And he cleans up all the parts. And then he puts it outside to get it recharged. As it does reboots itself. As during that time, Zuko walks around with it. Yeah, so he basically walks around. He tries to eat some rocks, but he was brave enough. As he slowly transforms from or during that time, I'll use a time skip, but during that time, he slowly turns into a monster. A monster that could eat rocks and is strong. Like, he could throw, like, the entire planet if he wanted to at the sun. Not even one planet. Throws like 3,300 of those. And he could still be, like, getting thrown around. Yeah. As he slowly transforms into a monster with red hair. Here, hold on. They cover his green part. Then he looks more here. Just ignore this green. Yeah. So he grows 2 horns out of his head. His body is transforming into a monster. And then he lost his humanity after that. He became the one who devours all. But in his back of his mind, he knew. He looks up at the sky, night sky, as he thought of his own sister, his own mother, his own father. He thought about Bakugo. Oh. As he knew he wants to go back home. He wants to go. Oh. So what did he do? He simply, because his ability, like his skill, is infinity and 0. So he can jump from one planet to the others in a one full jump. So he could just jump all the way from Mars all the way to the moon. Or to, yeah. And then, or actually, I don't remember, I forgot. So he ends up jumping around. And, of course, he picks up some rocks. For him, it's dessert. Because his jaws have now adjusted to, like, eating rocks. So, yeah, then that waves at him saying his goodbyes as he jumps for it, as he lands and on a next planet and then the next planet. Then he got back to Earth. Then during all that time, of course, it would be like Zumi, Bakugo, everybody thought he was dead. So they had a funeral going. And then Zumi inherits One for All. Then, yeah. And the red marks on his arm is actually him trying, or it's allowing him to basically, or not consume him, but he is slowly transformed into him. So that's what it's supposed to reference. So when he got back to Earth, it was before All Might versus All for One fight. That's how long he's been gone for. So when they all like, All for One says, "Any last words?" As Zuko, or as All for One's about to shoot All Might. But then they hear this kaboom! Like someone just broke the sound barrier as he landed. As he lifts his head up, his eyes were red like that all the way around as he looks at All for One. As Bakugo, or no one knew as of course his innocent side, Zuko part, where he transformed from, turned into that, says as to him, "Kill that villain." As Zuko's or body, or that monster that he became, smiles with bloodlust in his eyes. He looks at All for One as he walks up and ripped his arm from the socket, the All for One's arm, as he says, or as All for One is screaming. They thought he was gonna die right then and there, but he went further. He jammed into All for One's heart, or through the chest, grabs All for One's heart, rips it out, and he knew it had the immortal's old quirk. So he grabs it, crushes it in front of All for One's face, as All for One dies. He's out. There was no trace of him even left. Only his clothes and his mask. As he looks over, he sees the debris of the villain, or Helen's doing. As he walks, as All Might thought this monster is gonna kill him, but ends up walking past him. But then he grabs the boulder or rock that had a citizen underneath, as he picks it up and eats it away from the citizen. As he engulfs all the remains of the crumpled building. Yeah. And they're surprised someone actually doesn't, or this monster doesn't kill. So they put him behind, like, prison thing, like in Tartarus. As the detective was asking him a bunch of questions. What's your name? As he breathes. As he tilts his head back and forth. Or, no, he tilts his head. And as he did, all that time that he spent on Mars, he forgot his name. As the human, or so then he got put in there as he, or his insides, inside of his own mind, telling him or teaching him how to speak again. As he tells him, repeat after me. I am Zuko. As a monster says, Zuko. Okay, now do it again. Zuko. My name. As the policemen that were hearing him speaking, as they thought he was mumbling to himself. As when he looks up, they don't see his red eyes or his horn, or actually, let me get into that a little bit later. So he ends up trying to teach himself how to speak again like a human being. And Zuko, or as the detective, or him, walks in and says, okay, let's try this again. What's your name? My name is Zuko Midoriya, or Zuko. As they did not realize, as they looked up on a file on him, and it said, or actually there was nothing on him. As Zuko says, as this, I am Zuko. Do you have a last name, Zuko? As the monster says, Midoriya. Zuko Midoriya is my name. As Zuko, or as the detective says, Zuko Midoriya. That name sounds familiar. As the jet hero, the that old guy and All Might was there, as they said, Zuko Midoriya. As All Might walks in to ask him one question, or asked him, do you know Zumi? As Zuko says, yes, she is my sister. As they could not believe this kid is a real deal. As All Might shook and up because he heard that what happened to Zuko, that the villains planted a bomb for him to just get killed. But now here he is as a monster. He had like the entire half of his body, like this one. His entire half of his body was like you see before you. Yeah. He looked nothing like Zuko back then. As then he taught himself, no, as he walks around, but he sat down, meditation, as everybody or the cameras were looking at him, as he takes a breather, as Zuko cleans out his mind, as, yeah, they see his red hair turning back to green. His eyes start to, as his body starts to become back to normal. Yeah. He became from that back to this. Yeah. As Zuko gets up, he looks around. Like, seems like the explosion and really knocked me unconscious. Ow. As he looks at his behind his head, and he realized he didn't. As All Might couldn't believe, as doctors run in, and they see the like a giant blood thing where he hit his head. It was not just a tap and be done. He hits his head on a rock. As the blood, as he, like, as they stitch his head together. As he actually, no, they didn't send, Recovery Girl or the doctors. He regenerated. And Matt, so he looks over as he becomes a fanboy. And, yeah, he doesn't, attack them. He just, he sat down on his, knees as he asks, what happened? one minute I was in the forest. Next minute I was in the... Now I'm here. What happened during that time? As All Might looks at him, and he doesn't see a monster. He sees an innocent child that went through heck. And so he explains that the Yuzuku, when we came back, or when during the fight thing between between me versus a villain called All for One, and that got the attention of Zuko. What was he like when you were fighting him? Did you win or did you lose? As All Might says, well, better show you, kid. As they showed a picture or video of him falling out of the sky, looking like a monster, as Zuko was horrified what he has done. As he tries to think, but he ends up getting, like, he was tearing up. He could not believe that it was him. He killed All for One. He could not believe it. It was his fault that All for One died. As All Might noticed that it didn't mean to kill anyone. He meant to, like, as he basically tells him that all he wanted was to become a hero, to save people, but not to kill. As he crawls up into the corner and facing away from All Might, because it's too bearable to understand. As everybody, even All for One, or no, All Might, he walks up to Zuko, or like, they know that he didn't mean to kill, as, of course, they do that thing, and as, yeah, Zuko ends up becoming, or he was like scared child. He doesn't want to bear that part of him. As All Might walks into his, like, cell and walks up, takes a knee, as he takes him in to his chest, like, hugs him. And he went through a lot of growth spurts. Like, he becomes from age of 4, he was just a normal kid. Like, he went from being this, and, like, he was a size of a normal kid. and to being a, like, same size as Whitebeard from One Piece. So he, when he was standing, he looked like he makes All Might feel smaller than him. Yeah. So, this is why yeah. Because he is now age of 15. Or, it still is. But his body went through also a change. He went from being a weakling, like you see on your screen, to being a, like, hulking man. Like, he looks so, like, hot, that even if he stands outside, every girl would be attracted to him. Yeah. Yeah, so basically, yeah. All Might, Zuko tries not to be so, like, monstrous. Even Nezu understands that he probably hit his head too hard, and that's why yeah. But dumb luck, he survives. Yeah. So then Nezu asks Zuko, or All Might asks Zuko, if he is okay to become a hero. As he looks at his hands, as All Might says, I understand that the school, you'll be you'll just fit right into Class 1A. Right, Nezu? As Nezu walks out of nowhere. Yeah. As Nezu says, yes. He is now the Class 1A student. And don't worry. Your sister is in Class 1A. Okay? As he goes to UA. He walks with Nezu as he asks him a bunch of questions. Like, so much as looks like nothing really changed, as Zuko says. Yeah. I know how you, or my way, Zuko. I know how you feel. The losing, or not losing your memories, but what happened that day wasn't your fault. You were the target for a villain. Helen. And what we learned gathering up data from the Zuko, or from All for One, that he was the one planted the bomb for you to, yeah. So, and he says, did I kill him? Yes, you brutally murdered him. And sorry about that, Nezu. It's just I have vague memories. Or like, as his horns come back, but his hair doesn't turn green. or turns red. So as he thinks, as his memory, so he puts his horns back. As he doesn't really remember, or he tells them that he has vivid memories, like, he doesn't actually remember anything. He only remembers was him walking to the forest, Ernest found a present and then opened it. Turns out it was a nuclear. Then the next thing in one of those memories was me landing on Mars. Other than that, I don't really remember. And Nezu says, wait, so you who got exploded by All for One, but instead of dying, you got, like, launched all the way to Mars? Yeah, that's all I could remember. I remember from my memories. As Eraserhead walks in, or actually, he introduces himself as he says, I'm Mr. Aizawa, but please call me Eraserhead. And Zuko looks at him, as he shakes his hand, as, don't mind me asking, what part is Eraser part? Is it your quirk? Yes. As, yeah. Zuko, or the hallways or not hallways, the dorms, or like doors, are bigger than, so Eraserhead walks in, the students are like sitting down, there was one extra seat in the back, as Nezu, or no, not Nezu, Eraserhead says, please welcome one of the new students, and then you will treat him with kindness. Yes. He's been through a lot, but you all might know him as the one that killed All for One. As some of them have like horror faces, like this one, and they are like, please don't be that head. Or some of them think, please don't be that guy, please don't be that guy. And that, as they cross their fingers, as a tall, muscular guy with green hair, green eyes, walks through the door, hers, as he looks over, as he walks in. Yeah, so the students are like afraid of him. It's the same guy. As Mr. Aizawa says, this is Zuko Midoriya. As Zumi was like, what? Or like, she does it in a high-pitched voice. She could not believe. Because he misses her brother so many times. But when she saw her brother for first time in a long time. Yeah. He looks so, like, buffed up. And some of them are like, okay. Of course, Zuko says hi, and yes, it's been a long time, Zumi. Did you miss me? As he pulls out a rock, as he starts eating the rock. I'm not talking about a human called the Rock. I'm talking about where you see them all over the place. Like lifting a boulder up. Yeah. So he starts eating a rock. Mar's rock. As they see horns. The same one that... So they're like, okay. As sometimes they have to sit or stay away from him. Except for Zumi. Because she knows that it's her brother. Is such a kind soul. So, what did she do? He came close to him. Like, it's been a long time, brother. Huh. Yeah. As he got taught many different things and all that stuff. So, yeah. And when they trained with him, he wasn't a bad guy. He trained with Mr. Aizawa, and All Might. Every top pro hero trained him. Even Endeavor trained him to deal with, like, fire situations, black hole situations, everything. He even did combat with not just one pro hero, but 5 pro heroes. And the scores, like, his IQ scores went through the roof. Yeah, and then NASA, came over with Stars and Stripes. As Stars and Stripes wants to meet this so-called Zuko Midoriya. As what did they do? They sure do what they want to do. They want to experiment on Zuko. But the Class 1A and Pro Heroes and the citizens, and we're like, heck no on that, because he went through a lot of trauma. No more adding more trauma to him. As Nezu introduces him to Stars and Stripes. As, let me remind you, Stars and Stripes in height could reach Zuko's, like, kneecap. Or actually not kneecap, to his waist. So, yeah. Basically, That's how big he is. And he looks down. Yeah. Stars and Stripes is like, nice to meet you. And yeah. So then, now the overhaul fight is... I'm skipping the... Like, they all came in to arrest everybody and getting to the Overhaul's monster form, though. When his third form. Yeah, Zumi is about to get killed by it. But then a giant foot comes out of nowhere, hits Overhaul, like underneath his chin, like his monster forms his chin, and like sends him flying backwards as he picks Zumi and Ares up and puts them on his shoulder as he turns around to set them over, as he turns back around before as the horns came out of his head, and like what you saw on your screen. Yeah. This one, the horns. He went and kicked Overhaul's one of his legs, and he ends up using his stomp thing. Like, he lifted his foot up and stomped right onto Overhaul's back. As Zuko uses his knowledge of endeavors, flame, and yeah, there goes Overhaul, and Overhaul turns back into the four people. Then yeah, actually Momo, like after whole overhaul fight thing between Momo and here, Momo decides, or between Momo, Ochako, and Mina, and I forget her name, her. Hold on, give me a moment to find that girl. Her. So yeah, the Momo, Ochako, Mina, and her are trying to decide on who should he date, or who should date him. So, and let me remind you, I'm making her bigger, like a little bit past his like line thing, or like his, yeah, his waist. So it's basically, yeah. So I'll redo this what if I need to, but I'll make a poll before her. I'll just say all four of them decides, or like, all four of them decide to get dating him at the same time. He agrees, and they got married. They had 2 kids each. So 8 kids, and because 2 for each wife that he has. So basically he has 4 wives times 2, kids equals 8. Like 8 kids. Yeah. So, and 4 of those kids are girls. The other 4 are boys. One of them looks like Fire Fist Ace from One Piece. The other looks like Mr. Aizawa. And the others, yeah. So, basically, he decides, okay, I am not gonna... So, if you guys want me to do a poll of who, or I'll do it anyway, so, of who should he date the best, like, relationship thing between Momo, Ochako, Mina, and her, yeah. Then I will do 4 of them. Okay? If you guys want me to do a like, what if Zuko was the what if Deku was able to talk to ghosts and let them use their powers? Like, basically he uses their, or his, like, Infinity and Zero to be basically to make the impossible possible. Like, he could use the Banshee. He scream for his own. He could conjure up the dead, or he could use it on anything. Like, you could just imagine in your head, him having her about 24/7. So, now this is the goodbyes. Please leave a like, share, subscribe. Peace.